Canada's Red Mailbox Bird Shelter Initiative is a poetic blend of nostalgia and conservation, transforming forgotten relics into life-saving havens for wildlife. Across the snowy expanse of Canada, a quietly revolutionary movement is taking flight, one red mailbox at a time. What began as a local act of kindness has blossomed into a nationwide initiative that is turning vintage postal boxes into insulated bird shelters, offering warmth and refuge to small birds battling the country's unforgiving winters. These iconic red letterboxes, once symbols of human connection, are now lifelines for chickadees, wrens, sparrows, and other feathered friends who might otherwise succumb to the cold. From messages to mercy, the birth of a bird-saving idea, the idea was simple but profound. Repurpose old mailboxes, many of which were no longer in use, as shelters for birds. In a country where winter temperatures can plunge below -30°C, small birds often struggle to survive the night. Traditional nesting spots become inaccessible, and food sources dwindle. The red mailboxes, with their sturdy metal frames and nostalgic charm, offered a unique opportunity to provide protection. Volunteers began by cleaning out the interiors, removing rust and debris, and lining them with eco-friendly insulation. A small entrance hole was added to shield against wind and snow, and the inside was made cozy enough for birds to huddle together. What was once a vessel for letters became a sanctuary for life. A movement spreads across provinces. The initiative started in a small Ontario town, where a retired postal worker and avid birdwatcher decided to convert a mailbox near his home. Word spread quickly. Environmental groups, birding clubs, and postal history enthusiasts joined forces, and soon, red mailboxes were being transformed in British Columbia, Alberta, Quebec, and beyond. Each province added its own flair. In Nova Scotia, artists painted the mailboxes with scenes of native birds. In Manitoba, school children wrote poems and tucked them inside the shelters. In Saskatchewan, local businesses donated insulation materials. The project became a mosaic of community spirit, environmental stewardship, and creative expression. The science of survival, real impact on bird populations. Scientists began to take notice. Ornithologists from the Canadian Wildlife Service conducted studies in areas where mailbox shelters were installed and found a measurable increase in survival rates among small bird populations. Chickadees, known for their resilience, were thriving. Wrens and sparrows, often vulnerable to frostbite and starvation, were making it through the season in greater numbers. The shelters didn't just offer warmth, they reduced stress, improved sleep, and allowed birds to conserve energy. In some regions, birdwatchers reported seeing species that hadn't been spotted in years. The initiative was not just a feel-good story, it was a legitimate conservation success. Sources: nostalgia meets nature, the emotional resonance for many Canadians. The red mailbox is more than a metal box, it's a symbol of a bygone era. It evokes memories of handwritten letters, holiday cards, and neighborhood connections. Seeing these relics repurposed as bird shelters taps into a deep emotional vein. It's a reminder that even as technology changes, how we communicate, the spirit of connection endures. The poetic transformation from carrying messages between people to carrying hope between species has struck a chord. Social media is filled with photos of glowing red boxes nestled in snowbanks, with captions like "Love lives here" and "Nature's mailbox." The initiative has inspired songs, short films, and even a children's book titled "The Little Red Shelter." Winter warriors, the birds benefiting most. The primary beneficiaries of the mailbox shelters are small, non-migratory birds that remain in Canada year-round. These include black-capped chickadees, known for their cheerful calls and adaptability. Chickadees often roost together for warmth. House wrens, these tiny birds are vulnerable to cold. Snaps and benefit greatly from insulated shelter. American tree sparrows, common in northern regions. They struggle with snow cover and freezing temperatures. Nuthatches and finches. These species also use the shelters, especially during blizzards and ice storms. The shelters provide not just warmth, but a sense of safety. Birds can rest without fear of predators or exposure, and many return to the same mailbox night after night. How it's done: the anatomy of a bird shelter mailbox. Transforming a mailbox into a bird shelter involves several steps: cleaning and sanitizing, removing rust, debris, and any old mail remnants. Insulation, lining the interior with eco-friendly materials like recycled wool or cork. Entrance modification, cutting a small hole about 1.5 inches in diameter to allow birds in while keeping wind up. Snow out. Ventilation and drainage, adding tiny holes to prevent moisture buildup. Camouflage. And safety, painting the exterior to blend with surroundings and deter predators. Volunteers often personalize the shelters with names like Feather in or the Cozy Coop. Some even install tiny perches or seed trays nearby. Community collaboration, a model for citizen conservation. One of the most inspiring aspects of the initiative is its grassroots nature. It's not driven by corporations or government mandates. It's powered by everyday citizens. Retirees, students, artists, and bird lovers have all contributed time, materials, and creativity. Workshops are held in community centers where people learn how to convert mailboxes. Local hardware stores offer discounts on insulation. Birding clubs organize shelter spotting walks to identify and monitor mailbox shelters. The project has become a model for citizen-led conservation, showing that small actions can have big impacts. Global interest? Could this idea fly elsewhere? The success of Canada's mailbox shelters has sparked interest in other countries. Environmental groups in the UK, Sweden, and the northern United States are exploring similar initiatives. In Finland, where winters are equally harsh, a pilot program is underway to convert old phone booths into bird shelters. The idea is scalable, affordable, and emotionally resonant. It combines sustainability, heritage preservation, and wildlife protection in a way that's universally appealing. As climate change intensifies and winters become more unpredictable. Such shelters could become essential tools for bird conservation worldwide. Lessons learned. What this teaches us about conservation, the Mailbox Bird Shelter Initiative offers several key takeaways. Conservation doesn't have to be complex. Sometimes, the simplest ideas like repurposing old mailboxes can have profound effects. Community matters. When people feel emotionally connected to a project, they're more likely to support and sustain it. Creativity is a catalyst. Artistic expression and storytelling can amplify environmental messages and inspire action. Education is essential. Teaching people about bird behavior, habitat needs, and winter survival helps build empathy and awareness. A warmer winter, one box at a time, as Canada braces for another winter. Thousands of red mailboxes stand ready not to receive letters, but to offer life. They glow like beacons in the snow, reminders that compassion can be built into the landscape. For the birds that find shelter inside, it's a second chance. For the people who built them, it's a quiet triumph. In a world often overwhelmed by big problems, this small gesture proves that hope can be handcrafted. And sometimes, it comes in the form of a little red box.